welcome to another episode of Dinner Starts Here. We are at Huddleford Tree Farm today with Matthew. Thanks for having us, Matthew.
Yeah, it was great you could come.
First of all, thank you for the snow machine, because when we're talking Christmas trees, which is what you are, you have this little dusting of snow. I couldn't have asked for a nicer day. So thanks for that.
Oh, I've got so much pull when it comes to the
I
weather.
figured you must. So, as I mentioned, you guys are a Christmas tree farm.
Yes,
so,
we are.
I mean, this time of year in the winter, I know we're just a couple of days after Christmas now, but you guys have had a fairly busy few weeks, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's been a great year.
Great year. People come here, cut their own Christmas trees, that type of thing?
Yeah, we open the place up, and folks come for 5 weekends in the fall, and come and cut their own Christmas tree and sit around by the fire and have some hot chocolate and cider and roast their marshmallows. And
kind of a nice afternoon in the country.
Yeah, come and hang out.
So how long have you been at Christmas tree farm?
This is our 8th year that we've been open, and we started planting trees in 2003.
So we're 2017 now. You've been in 8 years, so 2009. So it was really, you decided you want to be a Christmas tree farmer, and then you worked for like 8 years before you actually could sell anything.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
So what makes you want to work for 8 years before you even get paid?
Oh, I don't know. It's one of those things.
Bored.
Yeah, one of those things you probably need your head read. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We sat down a long time ago and we decided what we wanted to do with this place, and I think it was more accidental than intentional. It was just, I like trees. My grandfather was a big tree guy, and my dad liked trees as well, and it just seemed like the thing to do. And it was suitable to the soil type on this farm, and it was something that blended in well with the fact that we both worked full-time, so we could start into it, and it wasn't a huge commitment in the beginning. It's become a huge commitment now.
Oh, now, yeah.
But it certainly wasn't in the beginning.
You said you just retired, so now this
Exactly.
is a full-time gig.
Yes,
so
exactly. So it all worked out in the end.
It all worked out.
Yeah.
So maybe we can kind of tour around and you can show us some of the trees?
Sure can, yeah. Be happy to.
All right, Matthew, we found some trees, but these look like they're a long way from Christmas trees yet.
Yeah,
how old are these trees then?
we planted these as seedlings, as transplants last spring.
Last spring. So they're just kind of a year old here, but
Yep.
you've got them as basically little trees, so they've been growing already somewhere?
Yes, they grew for 2 years in a seedling bed, 3 years in a seedling bed, and then 2 years transplanted into the field. So we get them as 5-year-old trees.
So this is a 5-year-old tree.
This is a 5-year-old tree.
And it looks like it's a long way from being a Christmas
It is 9 to 10 years from being a Christmas tree.
tree. So then, what do you have to do to look after? You just plant the tree and walk away for 9 years?
Nope, they all have to be sheared regularly. These trees, as you look at them, you can see they're trimmed from the bottom, so that's called basal pruning. So the base of the tree is pruned, so it makes it easier for someone to get under there with their saw to cut it. We are a U-cut operation.
You're starting that, making it easy for me to cut already.
Yes, yes. Plus it aids us in spraying our herbicide around the trees. We can get in there with our spraying equipment.
Now, why do that?
We want to spray out our rows and keep them clean. We drip irrigate, and if we don't get rid of the weeds between the rows, the mice like to live in the rows, and then they like to chew your irrigation lines.
And probably they'd go after the trees, too.
They do go after the trees, yep. And they get fertilized every year.
Fertilized?
Yes, yep, they do get fertilized, and we start out with a basic fertilizer program, and we increase it as the tree increases in size.
Well, Matthew, we found one that's a little bigger than the year-old one that we just at. How old would a tree like this be?
This is about a 4-year-old tree. We've done some basic shaping, not a whole lot, trying to get that triangle shape. The other thing we tried to do is we try to do some work at the top to sort of make a leader in the tree so that it has one individual leader like this. It gives it that true Christmas tree shape. If you don't do that, a tree will start to branch off and get a square top. So we always have to try to encourage a leader in every tree. So this is a shearing knife, and this is what you use to basically get this conical shape of the tree.
Well, that doesn't look like much of a...
Nope, but it's
like a butter knife.
It's a big butter knife.
Big butter knife.
But it's a lot sharper, yeah.
Yeah, sharp. Yeah.
A lot sharper, and we sharpen them regularly to keep them that way.
Yeah.
So I would basically go around this tree and just shape it as such, just generally cutting the tips off of the new growth to try to establish this conical shape of the tree. And then I would take a pair of pruning snips like this, to do the top. So in the case of this tree, what I want to do is I want to get the crown, sort of a flat crown in here and a distinct leader. So this little guy right here is actually going to compete with this leader and try to put a second leader up. So him I would cut off and try to establish the top of the tree as such.
Well, Matthew, we've come to the real crown jewels here, the big Christmas trees. They look like they are ready to go. Well, maybe not this year, but next year for sure.
These will be next year's trees. The shearing that we do next year, just prior to next fall's harvest, is probably the most important one. It's what sets the tree up to make the perfect tree that everybody wants. Yeah.
What are some of the reasons people want a real tree?
Well, I think it gives that true Christmas feel in their home. They get the scent and they get the adventure of going out with the family and getting it. And certainly when people come here, they very much enjoy themselves. And we have a pretty laid-back atmosphere. They can spend as much time here as they want and bring their dog. And we've got hot chocolate and cider and they sit by the campfires. And so it's a full experience. You should give it a fresh cut when you get home. So you cut it here. And when you take it home, if you put it up that day, or even if you wait a week or so, you should give it a fresh cut. A little sliver off the bottom before you put it in the tree, because that tree will start to seal itself off to try to hold its moisture after it's cut here. So if you do that, you give it that fresh cut, then basically it opens the pores again and it'll take on the water in the stand that it needs. And then secondly, just fresh water in the stand, nothing else. I don't think we found any secret recipes that are any better than that. And never, ever, ever let it run out of water. Because if it does run out of water, it'll have that same problem that we just discussed. It will seal off on the bottom, and then its ability to take up water will be lost, and then the tree will start to deteriorate.
Matthew, thanks for having us out today.
Well, it was great you could come. Appreciate the visit.